Namaste and good evening to all the friends.
Hello.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
uh, this is
Good evening,
the
sir. Good evening, sir.
this is the probably the last session of design and development of question paper in economics, and the presenter is Sri S.N. Gupta. Gupta ji is having a lot of experience working in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Vidyashram, Munshi Marg, Jaipur. One of the finest, wonderful teacher, having a passion with the subject, and he used to do a lot of innovations in the subject. It's very popular among the students. So today he will be presenting how can we prepare a question paper and how can we develop it. So Gupta ji,
Yes,
we
sir.
welcome you. The stage is all set for you.
Thank
Please
you,
proceed.
sir.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Dear colleagues, I am Vikrant Singh Sengar, PGT Commerce, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Vidyashram, Jaipur. I would like to welcome you all to this conference. It is a great pleasure to welcome you to the event. Your presence truly elevates the significance of this event, and we are excited to have you with us. As a key figure in education industry, your knowledge and experience will undoubtedly inspire and spark meaningful discussion among our attendees. We are honored by your participation and confident that your insights will contribute to making this conference both impactful and memorable. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to a successful and engaging event together. Dear all, I would like to welcome Shri A.K. Sharma ji, Regional Education Officer, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, North and Northeast Region. On behalf of Bharati Vidya Bhavan Vidyashram Jaipur, it is with great pleasure that we welcome you to our conference. We are deeply honored to have you join us today as our distinguished guest. We are truly privileged to have someone of your stature and expertise share your insight with us. Your vast experience and outstanding contributions to education world have inspired many, and we look forward to the valuable perspectives you will bring to this gathering. We hope you find the conference engaging and productive, and we are certain your participation will elevate the discussion and enrich the experience for everyone involved. Once again, sir, welcome and thank you for being part of our event. We look forward to a successful and impactful conference. I would like to thank Ms. Preeti Sangwan, Principal Bharati Vidya Bhavan Vidyashram Jaipur, for providing help and support to organize this event. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, it is my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today's conference, Shri S.N. Gupta ji, a highly respected and influential voice in the field of economics. Shri S.N. Gupta has an illustrious career spanning over 35 years, out of which he served Bharati Vidya Bhavan Vidyashram, Jaipur over 2 decades, during which they have contributed significantly to our understanding of economics. Currently, Shri S.N. Gupta holds the position Head of Commerce Department at VVP, where his research and subject analysis have had far-reaching impact not only in academia but also in shaping the future of economics. Throughout his career, Mr. Shri S.N. Gupta sir remained committee member for CBSE Marking Scheme Committee for 7 years, and their contributions have earned them prestigious awards and recognition. Sir worked as the resource person for National Testing Agency, and he has been CBSE head examiner for more than 20 years. Today, we are privileged to hear from Sri S.N. Gupta as they address the topic of design and development of question paper, which is particularly timely given the current academic landscape. I'm confident that their expertise and forward-thinking approach will inspire all of us to think differently about the challenges and opportunities we face in today's scenario. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to Sri S.N. Gupta ji for further details.
Good evening, everyone. Today we are starting with the introduction part of the economics. So the economics paper, design and development part, we are going to discuss today. Before we discuss about the question paper designing and development, I just want to tell you some important things related to that. As you can understand, Uh, in economics, the syllabus and the things have started changing after 2018. Till 2018, the economics paper was the 100 marks paper in CBSE. There was no practical part till 2017. The things have started changing after 2018. First time, the practical is introduced in the economics for the 20 marks. Then the 80 marks paper, the subject theory part is reduced to 80 marks. And because of that, the syllabus has started, changing from one to other. Till 2018, since 2018 and 19, the syllabus was divided into books, that is the micro and macroeconomics. But in 2019, CBSE introduced the change pattern of the syllabus and they introduced the Indian economic development, the book which used to be there in the class 11th, in class 12. And the first paper of this book was in the 2020 paper. In 2020, the first time the change syllabus was there in the exam. In 2021, there was no board exam due to the COVID. In 2022, the board exam was in the two terms, term one and the term two, and 2023-24. So the syllabus change part, we don't have the much of the background and the type of questions which we have come across in the CBSE exam. So basically, in the macroeconomics, since this book has been in the CBSE syllabus since last many years, so in this book, we don't have any problem. But the second book is basically Indian economic development. And in this book, we have had only the 3 years of the CBSE papers, the sample papers. So because of that, we have to really think hard the type of questions which can be there from this book in the board exam. So before I come to that part, let us start with the syllabus part. Syllabus of the CBSE 2024-25. Our 2024-25 syllabus is already there. As you can see in this particular part, the lot of emphasis is given on the remembering and understanding part. The remembering and the understanding part topics are there, especially when we see from the macroeconomics. Then in money and banking, in this unit, you can say more than 1.5 unit is based on the remembering and understanding part. Then while we see the Indian economy, the most of the chapters are based upon this. And while we come to the government budget, the some part of the government budget is the understanding and remembering part, and some part of the foreign exchange also. So the 44 mark syllabus, you can see a very great portion is given, that is the 55% based upon this particular section. While we see the applying part, the application which we used to use the word, in the application, only the 18 marks are given by the CBSE, that is the 22.5%. So from this part, what type of questions we make, or we can make what type of questions? From this, actually, the application means the applying the formula for calculating the national income and applying the formula for the unit determination of income and employment. I mean, we have some numerical part where the application is required. So this portion is given the 18 marks. While we come to the third part, that is the analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Analyzing simply means to analyze the situation. What I have understood in Indian economy, since the Indian economy, the topics are based upon the analyzing the economic situation and the scenario, and based upon that, evaluate, and then after that, we understand the things. So basically, this part is given 18 marks. Not much of the portion is given. So mainly the remembering and understanding part is the greater portion. And in this part, what we have to do, we have to make understand the students that what type of questions we have to give we have to design the question in such a way so that they remember the things, they understand. Remember what? Remember the date, timeline of the syllabus. In Indian economy, actually, we divided in 3 parts. Indian economy at the time of independence, That part is from 1947 to 50, 47, 48, 49, 50. Then the Indian economy from 1950 to 90, 40 years of the Indian economy, what all changes and what all type of economic situation was there, what all economic condition was there. After that, we have the third section of this book, and that is the 1991 Indian economy, 1991 and after that. As we all know very well, that in 1991, there is a drastic change in the policy matters of the Indian economy due to the policies of the globalization, privatization, globalization, and liberalization. So basically, the syllabus is divided in these three parts. I'll come to the bifurcation of the syllabus part. National income is given the 10 marks. Sometimes the problem in our mind is that what type of question CBSE can give, and even the students can ask many times, sir, out of these 10 marks, how many marks numerical will be there, or other type of questions is there? And even being a examiner, it is really difficult even for us to set the question paper, uh, 10 marks weightage of the national income. We think that one numerical also should be given, and the numerical minimum will be 3 marks, 4 marks, or the 6 marks. Apart from the numerical, the transactions also sometimes look very important for us. That how do we treat those transactions in the national income? So, I mean, it is really very difficult to set the question paper 10 marks justification for the national income because it is such an important unit, not only for class 12, but even in the higher studies of a student. We really want to do some justice. And if we pick the topics, if we pick the questions from this part, then sometimes the students can ask, then, sir, why should we read the things related to all the three methods? The detail of the production method, the detail of the income method, the detail of the expenditure method, then real and nominal GDP part, and GDP and welfare. I mean, there are so many things given. So it is really very important for all of us to understand that what type of questions CBSE is giving. That on that part will be coming on the later part of the section. So 10 marks given to the national income. It's a big unit, but the weightage is reduced because the 20 marks practical when it started in 2018. So the weightage of this unit is reduced. Money banking, though we have in money and banking, hardly 4 or 5 topics are there. In money and banking part, if you look at the syllabus part, if you look at the syllabus part of the money and banking in the detail, no syllabus. Okay, I mean, all right. Syllabus part, if you look at the syllabus part of the money and banking, then you'll find in money and banking, meaning and definition of money is given. The meaning and definition of money is given. Apart from that, they are given currency held by meaning and definition of money and supply of money. But drawbacks of barter is not given. Sometimes while we read the CBSE syllabus, the things are really not so clear. Then we have to understand and apply our own logic. That when they are discussing about the functions of money, then drawbacks of barter is a part of that. The question which they frame in the exam, the questions are framed in this manner, that this is explain the one drawback of the barter system and how the function of money has removed this drawback. So this is the money part. Then money creation by the commercial banking system. Yeah, this is a little bit, I should say, numerical type of question. In this, you have to understand, because in some of the books, they have explained the money creation process through the use of the value of CRR. But in CBSE, they consider the value of LRR. The LRR is the legal reserve ratio, which includes both the things, CRR and SLR. Then we have to explain how the money creation. And if this question comes in the examination, this question cannot be less than 3 marks, or maximum it can be 4 marks. So the unit of 6 marks, how many questions they can frame. The thing is this, the 10 questions they have to make multiple choice. The 10 questions of the multiple choice are there. So one or two multiple choice questions will be from the money and banking unit also. So maximum one or two multiple questions. And if they pick up this question or this topic, then maximum the money creation they can ask. While we come to the determination of income and employment, this is the biggest unit of the macroeconomic, that is the 12 marks. In this unit, you can expect 4 to 5 questions. 4 to 5 questions, it means the 1 6 mark, while we discuss the typology of questions, in typology of question, you have to keep in mind that you have 1 marks, 10 questions, 3 marks, 2 questions, 4 marks, 3 questions, and 6 marks, 2 questions. Same in macroeconomics, same in Indian economic development. So while we are setting the question paper, that this is also to be kept in mind that the 6 marks question, which is really a point of consideration for the students also, they really do not want to do anything wrong in bigger questions. So we can understand like that 6 marks question may be from this particular unit. I'm talking about the determination of income and employment. In this unit, while we see the determination of income and employment, then determination of income and employment, syllabus part. Yeah, no syllabus part. Syllabus is we are discussing. Yeah, this is determination of income and employment. One thing I really want to clarify that from this unit, there are so many things to discuss. There are so many things, national income and determination of income and employment. These are very big units. You can see the number of periods allotted by the CBSE. 30 periods, 30 periods. And the marks are given to both the units are only 22. So, we have to set the paper in this way that 1 or 2 MCQs. Apart from that, the 3 marks question while we set from the determination of income and employment, then it may be based upon, this unit is divided in 3 parts. Part 1, saving functions, consumption function, and investment multiplier. Up to this point, you can pick 1 3 marks question. Then they have the determination, that is the national income equilibrium by using aggregate demand, aggregate supply approach, or you can say second approach is the investment and saving approach. So in both these approaches, maybe sometimes the CBSE can give the one question based upon this approach. The last topic of this particular unit is the excess and deficient demand and how to correct the situation of excess and deficient demand. The measures which we discuss are related to the correction of excess and deficient demand, that is through the monetary measures. This topic, the monetary measure which we are taking through the RBI for correcting the excess and deficient demand, change of repo rate, change of bank rate, change of CRR, change in SLR. This topic is actually included in both the topics, in both the units. While you are taking the money and banking, you have in banking part, you have one topic that is the central bank functions. So in central bank function also we teach this particular topic, and in the determination of income and employment also we teach this particular topic where we have to, this is really comparatively an easy topic to understand. How to correct the situation of excess and deficient demand. So this is the unit number 3, 12 marks. Government budget and economy, as what I have been, analyzing and understanding, that many times CBSE is giving 1 6 marks question from this particular unit, government budget. 6 marks does not mean one question of 6 marks. It may be 2 sections A and B. Because 3 marks, many topics can be prepared from this particular unit, like objectives of the budget, like revenue receipts, like capital receipts, like direct and indirect taxes, like revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, fiscal deficit, or a small numerical. So a great scope is there for giving the questions from this particular unit, that 3 marks, 2 questions or one objective type and one 4 marks question. So normally nowadays what CBSE is doing, they are giving this particular, they are doing the 2 questions from the government budget, that is the 6 marks, 3 marks each. Lastly, the balance of payment. This particular unit has the 2 chapters. One is the foreign exchange rate and other is the balance of payment. Now you can imagine, sometimes really it is difficult as an examiner for us also to justify that, in 6 marks, how many questions you can give. And 2 chapters are there, and both the chapters are very important. Foreign exchange rate and balance of payment. In foreign exchange rate, the syllabus is, little bit modified by the CBSE in a year or so. The flexible and the fixed type of exchange rate system, their merits, their demerits, the demand and supply of the foreign exchange, the managed floating system. And while you see the balance of payment, the current account and component and capital account and component. We are teaching capital and current account of components, but they ask many times the autonomous and accommodating items, autonomous and accommodating transactions. So basically, it is really very difficult task for us to set a paper from these units, especially keeping in mind the marks constraints. This is very important. So you have to see that, and you have to understand this, that this is very important that, and especially for a student, many times the students, they really try to, cover up one topic or the 2 topics or the 3 topics and try to skip 1 or 2. But you can understand, we never and we should never entertain and encourage the students to giving some important questions to them while they ask many times. Because you can understand, we all can understand over a period of time, nothing can be important in the CBSE. All type of questions are important. They experiment, they change the pattern, they change the things time to time, many, and even after evaluation of the many years in the CBSE, I mean, the questions which has not come in many years can be in board exam anytime. So we should prepare thoroughly and we should give all type of questions to them in our regular practice. Wherever we are teaching them a particular topic, we should definitely give them a type of worksheet. And the worksheet should cover all type of questions. So they should be in a position to, go through and attempt all type of questions. So this is very important part. So this is what I have covered the section A, that is a part A of our paper. From part A, we'll be having the 17 questions from question number 1 to 17. In part B, Indian economic development, though CBSE has reduced the syllabus from this particular unit, in over 2-3 years, but what they have done, initially when the first time the board paper was there from this particular book, there was no case study question was there, and the case studies was not a part of the syllabus. But after 22, 20, there was no case study. 21, there was no board exam. Even in 22 exam, when there was 2 terms, then they started giving the case studies. In case studies, we have to understand what type of case studies they are giving. One of the case study they have given based upon the Gati Shakti project of the CBSE. I'll be sharing those, these case studies with you. One is the given on the Gati Shakti project. One case study was there last year on the G20 summit. So normally, whatever the contemporary Indian economic changes going on, remember, whatever latest economic changes are going on, they normally give the case study based upon that. Maybe the infrastructure development by the government in the different projects, maybe the budget expenditures, the budget deficits, maybe the G20 summit and its impact on the economy of the member nations, some trade routes and all these things. So basically, they are giving the case study from section B. While we are talking about the unit number 6, that is the first unit of the second book, Development Experience. This unit is comprising 2 parts, Indian economy at the time of independence and the Indian economy from 1947, 50 to 90 and reforms of 91. So these things are covered in this unit, and the 12 marks are allotted for all these things. So, while we set the paper, we really have to discuss that what type of questions we should give. Normally, they are giving one or two questions, two, three questions based upon the timeline of the when the 5-year plan started, when the Tisco project, Tisco steel plant was set up, when the railway started, when the Suez Canal opened, when did we start the census, and all these type of questions they definitely ask from this. Apart from that, 1950 to 90. In 1950 to 90, we have four things. One, economic planning, that is the 5-year plan up to the 7 5-year plan. Because till 1990, we completed 7 5-year plan. 7 5-year plan, their period, whenever the breaks were there, sometimes it becomes it becomes important for us to explain the reasons of that break also. As a teacher, we should not confine our knowledge only to the book. We really have to go through the things. We really have to understand. The first break was there in 1966. 51, we started plan. And after 1951, then 1956, 56 to 61, and 61 to 66. After three plan completion of the 1966, there was a break of 3 years. Sometimes the question may be asked by the student that, sir, why the break was given? What was the reason of giving the break of the 5-year plan? Then we should answer them in this way. The break was given because in the third 5-year plan, the country had to face two consecutive wars. The 1962 Indo-China War and 1965 Indo-Pak War. Because of these two wars, the country's resources, we were not able to manage for the beginning of the fourth 5-year plan in the continuation. Therefore, the break was given by the government in 1969, 66, and after three annual plan, then in these 3 years, we consolidated our economy. Then we start the fourth plan in 1969 to 74, 74 to 79. Again, there is a break of 1 year. Then again, the question is that why 1979-80 there was no 5-year plan? In that case, we definitely have to have the study of that particular period. In 1977, when Morarji Desai government came into power, 1977 was the year when first time non-Congress government came into power. 1977, the first time the non-Congress government came into power, and Morarji Desai became the prime minister of the country. But there were so many parallel leaders in that particular government. So because of that reason, they could not continue the government more than 2.5 years because of some conflicts between that. The government could not continue, could not last for the 5 years. And the end of the 1979, this government lost the majority, and the midterm poll was there in January 1980. So that was the reason when in that 79-80, the period was not so good for the economy. Initially, this government started very well. In March 77, they came into power. While we teach the students, we really should discuss these things with the students, that in those 30 years, the most price control period was what I could recall, though I was very small student that time, but I can still remember those things. That in 1977, when the Morarji Desai government came into power in March 77, that was the wonderful period from the price control and the inflation rate point of view. So, the people who could experience that particular period was really a very controlled price. But unfortunately, that government could not continue, and there is a break of 1 year. In 1980 January election, again, while Mrs. Gandhi came into power, then there is a beginning of the fifth 5-year plan. There is a beginning of sixth 5-year plan. Started from 80 to 85. In October 84, when Mrs. Gandhi's assassination on 31st October was there, and Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister in December 1984, then the seventh 5-year plan continued from 1985 to 90. But 90, when the seventh 5-year plan completed, then we really have to explain again to the students that why there was a break of 2 years in that particular period. There is a changing of government. There is a changing of government from VP Singh to Chandrasekhar, and they could not continue the government even for a year or so. And because of that, the planning commission was not in a position to make a draft of the 5-year plan. And because of that, there was a break of inst. One thing we really have to explain in this particular book, that economic growth is directly related with the political stability. Whenever we have the stable government, we have a good economy, we really have a stable economy, we have a stable policies, and those policies really bring the better economic growth. And whenever we have, the unstable political scenario in the country, it really hampers the economic growth for the country. So in 90 to 92, again, this is the last break of the 2 years. And after that, we started the eighth plan. And 8th to 9th, 9th to 10th, 10th to 11th. Sometimes it is difficult for the students to recall all the 5-year plan, but they really have to. They really have to. It's a very important part. Last 5-year plan was going on from 2012 to 2017. But in between this particular 12th plan, there is a change of the government, and Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister in 2014, and he changed the name of the Planning Commission to Niti Aayog. Actually, whatever problems he faced being a CM of Gujarat during that period, I mean, whatever his observation was there, he incorporated those changes in the Niti Aayog. And Niti Aayog definitely is a bigger and the wider platform where the all state representations was there. And this is changed, name is changed in 2015, but the 5-year plan continued till 2017. And after that, we have the three years action plan. Current challenges facing Indian economy, in this unit, we have human capital formation. In this unit, we have the rural development. In this unit, we have the another topic is sustainable development. There are 4 topics in this particular. There are 4 topics in this particular unit. So, human capital formation, sustainable development, rural development was there, and another is the unemployment. So these 4 are the challenges which Indian economy. While you see this particular unit, 20 marks, 4 chapters. So we have to see on an average 5 marks per chapter is there in this particular unit. So how to make the question, how to set the questions, this is really very important for us. When we have a better scope to set the more questions from this particular unit. Then last unit is actually the last chapter. This is the 8 marks. This is 1 chapter, 1 unit. That is the comparison of the India, Pakistan and China. 8 marks. I mean, you can very easily explain and compare because all the 3 countries started their development together. India, Pakistan in August 1947, in China in 1949. Then we have to really compare when and where, which country has made a significant change, what are the reasons. This is very important for this unit, that being a teacher, we should really discuss those things, that what are the reasons for those changes. Why Pakistan after 1990 has not been able to make a significant progress, or where India has lost the rhythm in between, where China has taken a big lead after 1978 economic reforms. So all these policies we have to discuss and giving the questions based upon that. Their demography is there, their sector-wise contribution, primary, secondary, tertiary, and all these things are very important. And we should definitely give such questions in our paper. Our next part, while I come to, after this discussion of the syllabus, while I come to this is the type of question which, one thing I just want to mention, that there is no choice in the 1 mark questions. Straight away, 10 questions are there, 1 to 10. I was going through the CBSE paper and even their sample paper also. What I have noticed that assertion and reason type of questions, which are really very difficult for the students to understand, especially in option A and B. If one is wrong, one is right, it's very easy to identify. But when both are correct, then it is very difficult to understand whether we should go with the A option whether the reason is the correct explanation of the assertion or not. So such type of question practice, definitely we have to give them. And what I have noticed that 4 type questions may be there out of 20 of such nature. Otherwise, statement 1, statement 2, and then other type of MCQ questions. There is a choice of internal choice of one question in 3 marks. So questions, I mean, students have to attempt three, but they are given, a student have to attempt 2 questions, but they are given 3 questions. And same is the case of 4 marks. Students have to attempt three, but they are given 4 questions. And in 6 marks, the students, they have to attempt 2 questions, but they are given 3 questions. So there is a choice of section A 3 questions and section B 3 questions. So total number of questions will be 40 in examination, but they have to write 34, right? So this is the type of marks breakup. Then I just want to discuss the CBSE question paper of this year. CBSE question paper of this year, 2024, definitely the latest one. This year, senior secondary examination, I'm discussing the paper of the All India pattern because CBSE is giving the 3 papers. One is the CBSE Delhi region, one is the paper for abroad, and one is the paper for uh, outside Delhi, that is the for rest of the India. So while you see these questions, the one thing they have, because this was our suggestion when I used to go in the marking scheme, that it is very difficult for the examiners to read the paper, then see the marking scheme, read the paper, then see the marking scheme. I mean, a lot of time is wasted and not able to concentrate. So our suggestion was accepted by the CBSE that time, that whenever we give now, the marking scheme will the questions together. So now the examiners, they do not require the paper separately. The questions are there and the answer is also along with there. So these are the questions you can see, especially the, assertion and reason type of questions are very difficult to, like you can see the section A, question number 1. Ceteris paribus, the devaluation of the domestic currency leads to an increase in national income of a nation. Now, while we discuss such type of MCQs, we first have to explain them. They should understand what is the devaluation of currency and how the devaluation of currency affects our export and import side. While devaluation of currency is increasing the exports, so definitely increasing the national income of the country because export is a part of income. Devaluation, reason is devaluation of the domestic currency leads to reduction in the value of domestic currency with respect to foreign currency. This is the other way to explain the devaluation. But this reason is not the explanation of assertion. Therefore, they have taken the B option. So likewise, the questions are given. Central bank can reduce the money. Yeah, this is these type of questions. Students really sometimes, are not able to understand. What do you mean by the money supply and how does it affect? I mean, things are interrelated. Central bank is making some changes in the policy. That policy is affecting the money supply, and that money supply is affecting the inflation situation of the country. So this is the way the things are interrelated. And we really have to link those things. Like it is written, central bank can reduce the money supply in the economy. Students can ask why the money supply is going to be reduced by the government. So you have to explain, and we have to explain the money supply is reduced by the central bank to handle the situation of inflation. And this can be done by increasing bank rate. The rate at which the central bank is giving the loans to the commercial banks for their long term. When this rate is increased, the borrowings become costly, and as a result, less loans are taken, and it will control the money flow of the economy. So all these things, buying the security, selling the security. So this is the way we have to, explain. As I said earlier, that this topic is actually in two parts. This topic is in two units. One is the central bank functions in the money and banking, and other is the determination of income and employment also. Then the next question is the demand of the foreign exchange are not a source of demand for foreign exchange of the Indian economy. Now, while we explain them about the demand and supply, demand means why do we require the foreign exchange? We have to explain them why the foreign exchange is required to us. And another part, while we explain them why the foreign exchange is required, then we have to explain from where this foreign exchange, from where this foreign exchange earned by us. I mean, why do we demand and from where we get the supply? So both the things can be compared. While we are exporting, we are getting the foreign exchange. While we are importing, we have to make them the payment in the foreign exchange. So source of demand will be remittances by foreigners living in India to their families abroad. No. Indian tourists visiting foreign tourists. No. Loans from rest of the world. So this while we have to explain, many topics are there which are penetrating in 3 units. Like this is one of the topic, loans from rest of the world. Indian government is taking the loan from IMF and the World Bank. While we receive the loan, definitely the loan is taken by us in the dollars. As a result, there is an increase in supply of the foreign exchange. So question number 4, yeah, I really want to explain this. I was thinking in a straight line consumption function makes a positive intercept of the y-axis implies that MPC and APC at the level of income rises. Friends, it's very difficult to explain this type of things, especially for the non-mathematics students. What the question is there, you can understand y-axis, the consumption line is intercepting. So why we have to explain the slope part. We have to discuss then the slope part little bit. Like the income line is starting from origin and it is drawing on the 45-degree angle. Sometimes the question is, what is the slope of the 45-degree line? That sometimes we have to use the concept of tan 45 value. The value of the tan 45 for tan theta 45 is the slope is 1. The slope of the line is 1 and the slope of the consumption line is less than 1. Therefore, there is an intersection between the income line and consumption line. So such type of questions are there and the diagrams, diagrams of income, consumption and savings and aggregate demand, aggregate supply. These diagrams are very important and we have to teach them. And sometimes, even the students get confused because some of the diagrams, like the diagram of the inflationary and the deflationary gap, these diagrams are given differently in different type of books. It is very important for all of us to explain what exactly is easier thing for a student to understand. Next one is the managed floating system. This is the based upon the exchange rate. And then identify the incorrect feature of the money supply in the economy from. Yeah, this is very important while we have more than one alternative. Incorrect feature of the money supply. It is measured during a period of time. Yes. It includes stock of money held by the government of a nation. Yes. It always represents the currency held with the central bank of the nation. Yes. Then sometimes the question is option 1, 2, and 3. All 3 are taken. Supply of money, while we are explaining supply of money, sometimes in some of the books, the money supply is given in the form of the M1, M2, M3, M4. It is very important for us, being a teacher, to guide the students that this is in the syllabus and this is not in the syllabus. M1, M2, M3, M4 are the RBI measures. Definitely, RBI is giving the money supply in these 4 components. But it was there in the CBSE syllabus earlier, but now it is not a part of the syllabus. Now, it's very important to underline each and every word, what is there in the syllabus, because the questions are from there only. Supply of money simply means, the money supply simply means the total currency held with the public and the total deposits, the demand deposits with the commercial banks. The question may be asked, why only the demand deposits? Why not the time deposits? Then we have to explain the time deposits are actually not flowing in the form of the cash in the economy. Then friends, we come to the next questions. The real GDP and nominal GDP. Yes, this is a very small topic, and this topic is actually not at all a part of the three methods. These are some, miscellaneous type of topics. So it is sometimes difficult for us to, as I said earlier, that 10 marks in national income and so many things to discuss, but we never know that what is there in the what will be there in the paper and what is not there. Even being a teacher, we can't leave even a small topic for the student. If we leave even a small line, even a small topic, and if the question is there in the examination, then I mean it's definitely a loss for a student. So this is very important. Now we come to the next part, next page of the question. After that, I would like to come some this year's sample paper questions. This year's sample paper questions I would like to discuss. Sample question paper, and then we can see the marking scheme also. Can we share the screen together? Marking scheme also, that we can see both the things together. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It is very important for us to read the question paper and ask every student to solve the question paper of the CBSE, a sample paper of the CBSE. Because sample paper really guide a lot for all of us. And if you see the sample paper of the last 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, the best way to prepare the students for the examination is the sample papers and the board papers. Because you can understand, we are preparing them for the board exam. So they should know what type of questions CBSE is giving in these years. This is the session reason type of question. The question number 1, government can reduce the deflationary gap by purchasing government securities in the open market. Deflationary and inflationary gap, as I said, this is really a very difficult type, not difficult, but this topic or the diagram of this particular topic is given in a different way in the different type of books. So being a teacher, we should make a very clear-cut type of diagram. With this type of diagram, we should explain them, and students can very easily understand this diagram. Otherwise, and while we are checking the copies, maybe we are teaching one type of diagram, but while we are checking the copies, the students may give the diagram in a different way, and we consider the all type of diagrams because we can't lost to any student. But being a teacher, we should know different type of diagram, but we should try to explain the student very clearly that this is the way the gap should be shown. If we give them 2-3 type of, they may get confused. This is very important part. Yeah, you can see the question number 2. This is the question is related to the Prime Minister scheme. The Prime Minister scheme, that is the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Before COVID, and I mean, since the COVID, government has been giving the free ration to almost more than 80 crore population. And this is going to be continued by the government for another 5 years. That is it has already been announced. So whenever there is a government scheme is given, the question is asked which budget objective it is going to fulfill. So when government scheme is giving benefit to the poor, so definitely it's going to redistribute the income. Friends, it's very important for us to understand the topics in economics are interrelated. When we are teaching them redistribute income, so redistribute income is a topic which may penetrate in the national income also in the form of transfer of payments. Redistribute simply means the income is, or once income is already earned, it is going to be redistributed from higher section to the lower section, taking the tax from the higher section and giving the benefits to the lower section. In this year sample paper, one term in question number 3, I have seen this is a very different term, and that is the net product tax. They normally do not use the net product tax. They use the net indirect tax. We teach them while you come from market price to factor cost. they have to use the net indirect tax. So NIT, or you can say net indirect tax, is the difference of the indirect tax and subsidies, but they have used the net product tax. So this is the question number 5 again, is the line, that is the line drawn from the origin. This was just now I was talking about. It is also called reference line. One more thing, while we give such type of questions, the question will arise, the question will be asked, what we are taking on the y-axis and what we are taking on the x-axis. Because this on this income line on the y-axis, we are taking the value of the expenditure. On x-axis, we are taking the value of the income. So this is little bit related with the national income. Then whatever is the total expenditure is the value of the total income. So that is the value of C plus I is the total expenditure on the y-axis, and the value is the same is the on the x-axis. So the 45-degree line, the reference line, this is what we have to teach them. Then we come to, I'm just going to refer some important question from the sample paper. The relation of the MPC, MPS, some application part is there, or you can say some sort of numerical part is there, which sometimes is very difficult. What we have to understand, that what type of students are there in the economics group. In economics group, though, it is in the science, commerce, and humanities, all the 3 streams. But what majority group is there? Science students, less number of science students opt economics. In commerce, we have the mathematics group and the non-mathematics group. So mathematics group students can solve the numerical and they have the better understanding of the diagram, graph, and the numerical. But we have to understand that a large number of students opting economics are from non-mathematics background. Maybe they are from the commerce non-maths, or maybe they are from the humanities. So we have to make the calculations very easy, and we have to make the things very easy and simple, and especially for explaining the numerical part. Though numerical question may be not more than 15 marks, 14, 15 marks, but 15 marks is quite a big number in a paper of 80 marks. So they should not lose the marks, because this is not their very strong area. So we should definitely give them enough practice, and then giving the questions also to them in the form of the worksheet also. After that, we have some budget questions. Then the foreign, I'm picking some important part. Yeah, one is the diagram-based question. Yes. Question number 10. The graph knowledge and the diagram knowledge is there in the statistics in class 11. But now the CBSE has picked some picture-based questions and the graph-based questions also. So we have to make them understand that the study of the graph and finding out the differences, that is the surplus and the deficit of exports and imports. So basically, this is some because graph and the diagram-based question and some table-based questions are also given by the CBSE. So we have to understand, and we should definitely give them the enough practice and set the question papers accordingly. This numerical is there. In past, national income numerical used to be of the 6 marks. But as I said, the unit is having only the 10 marks. So now the similar type of numerical, they are designing for 3 marks only. And the one theory question is there in the choice. So this is what CBSE is doing. If a student is very well versed with the formula, definitely should try to opt the numerical. But if somebody is not so confident in the numerical formula, has a choice of writing about the method in theory. So this is one very important thing for all of us to understand, that CBSE is giving 6 choice. So we have to explain the students how the choice question should be picked. In choice question, they should pick a question in which they expect and they are confident to score marks. The other one, they should not attempt one. The foreign portfolio investment, the foreign direct investment, these are very important terms to understand, to explain. Yeah, one more thing which I would like to discuss, and we can give the question, and many times we are giving. what CBSE is doing, they are clubbing the two chapters in one question. What they are doing? This question is given, question number 13. Foreign portfolio investment witnessed a sharp turnaround during 23-24 net foreign portfolio inflow at US dollar $32.4 billion. Now they are asking only about the balance of payment. They can ask one more thing. They can ask, how does it affect the foreign exchange rate? They can ask about the foreign exchange rate also. So, when there is an inflow of the foreign exchange, it is going to increase the supply of the foreign exchange. When there is an increase in supply of the foreign exchange, then it is going to decrease the foreign exchange rate. So demand supply foreign exchange determination also, we should explain them. Now, this is one more thing. We should always discuss the CBSE sample paper and the board papers with the students. I still remember once and twice our student, they have made a mistake. They attempt a question which is given for the visually impaired candidate. We should explain them that these questions are not for them. These questions are for visually impaired students. You just see what questions are there for you. This is very important part. Then again, we can see the question. Yeah, one thing is very important. The policies of the government and the policy related matters of the government are very important, especially in economics. You can understand that normally in CBSE questions, they are not asking the latest changes made by the government, the latest policies changed by the government in one or the other aspect. So this is very important that those case studies we should discuss with the students. This is because, and case study is not an unseen passage type of thing. We should explain to the students because they sometimes misunderstood that case study means they read and they answer from there only. Case study just information, and on the basis of that information, the questions are given, and you have to analyze the situation and then answer in your own, And one more thing is very important while we are teaching class 11th and 12th. We really should not encourage the, the ratification type of things, or we can say they learn the things by heart. We should not encourage the students to learn it in a parrot fashion. We just make them understand, and we really encourage them that this is the thing, and this is the way. This is the topic. You understand the topic. If you learn from the notes, if you learn from the book, it's up to you. Or if you want to write it your own, you can write it. Because the language is not very important. The content is important. This is what normally we discuss with the students. Then apart from that, this is again a calculation part, the real and nominal GDP. As I said, a very small topic, but every time the questions are there and a very small formula is there. But sometimes the students, they don't apply the formula properly and they make the mistakes. Sometimes they ask the question directly to conversion, the nominal GDP to real GDP. Sometimes they ask the percentage change in the real GDP. This is what, one thing we really teach the students to read the paper properly, to read the things properly, to read what is asked, and what is to be done. And we should really, develop them. We should develop a habit in the students to utilize the 15 minutes time. The 15 minutes time, reading time is given by the CBSE. We should ask them to utilize those 15 minutes properly, read 2 times, 3 times, and then after that, they should attempt the questions. This is one picture-based questions because the picture-based questions they are giving. Read the given images properly. These given images are basically based on the vital functions performed by the environment, sustains, provide the static services, genetic options. So basically, they are asking the correct options, functions of environment. They are asking the third and fourth one, the first, second, third, and fourth. So basically, such type of picture-based questions, they are giving sometimes a very easy one. but students should be able to identify these type of questions. Yeah, statement one, statement two. These are quite easy as compared to the assertion and reason. Just they have to find out whether the statement is correct or incorrect. Yes, after that, uh, we have uh, we have some knowledge-based questions also. Knowledge-based questions are given from the chapter 2 of the Indian economy, and they can ask the questions related to the Indian agriculture, the institutional changes, the financial reforms, the technical reforms of the agriculture from 1950 to 90. Then they can ask the small scale industries, their importance. Maybe they can ask they can ask the IPR, the industrial policy resolutions. Sometimes they are asking the inward looking trade strategy. We should select the topics and we should teach them. And these topics, we can repeatedly give them the practice. So this is the type, this is what we are discussing the paper of the CBSE and trying to cover the type of questions. Trying to cover the type of questions. This is question number 31. You can see under the Delhi Declaration, the G20 nation pledged to reach the global net zero emission approximately by mid-century and to triple global renewable energy. This is very important because our Prime Minister has been raising this issue again and again on all the international, in all the international platforms. Because sometimes, these developed countries blame the technology of the developing countries for emitting more and more pollution and making the environment polluted. So the Prime Minister this time, even in the recent G7 summit also, and on the other platform also, he has been, he has been putting this matter very strongly on all the international platforms. So this is what we have discussed, the different type of questions. And anything else, Sharma Saab, if you suggest me to explain something more?
No, it's good.
Or,
I'd like to add something.
yes, sir, please, sir.
Actually, if you see from the student point of view,
Yes, sir.
it is about the design and development of question paper.
Yes, sir.
But what happens that there are certain problems that the student used to face. So
Yes.
I request all the teachers to see and
Yes.
to train the students according to that.
Yes.
So I'm giving certain points like the first is about the time management. Generally, in economics, the questions are left
Yes, sir.
because the economics paper has both theory and numerical sections.
Yes.
And it is the duty of the teacher that he should train the children that how the time is used wisely for the each section, and it should be based on the comfort and proficiency of the children.
Sure.
And number two is about the understanding of the graph and diagrams.
Yes.
So in economics, generally, in most of the papers I have seen, the graphical representation is there or
Yes, sir.
certain diagrams are there.
Yes, sir.
So make sure that you should know and you should bring it to notice of your children that they know the demand and supply curve, which is
Yes, sir.
very common,
Yes.
production possibility, cost
Yes, sir.
curve.
Yes, sir.
So certain these type of things which are very common should be known to the children.
Yes.
Third is the application of the concept. Like just now you were asking the question about the G20.
Yes, sir.
It is one such question where the that what happened in that. So the concept was G20 and how it was applied is different one. So the economics is not just memorizing things.
Yes, sir.
It is how you apply in the real world scenario. It is
Yes, sir.
very, very important.
Yes.
So the children should practice certain case studies and teachers should given them practical problems.
Yes.
So that their application skill should be strengthened.
Sure.
Then economics has certain specific terminology, like other subjects also. It is having its own vocabulary, own definition, that it is advised that children should learn and they should know, and teachers should stress that they should know the definition of terms which are very common in the market,
Yes, sir.
like inflation, like fiscal deficit, fiscal
Yes, sir.
policy, monetary policy,
Yes, sir.
etc., etc.
Definitely.
So they should use these terms correctly.
Yes, definitely.
Then they should also, children should be advised to answer logically. That they should start with the introduction,
Yes, sir.
followed by certain main points,
Yes,
and
sir.
conclude with a summary. And
Right.
wherever the headings are there, they should be underlined, or bullet points are there, or subheading are there. So the notebook should be attractive.
Yes, sir.
Because here we are judging the students on the basis of their notebooks,
Yes,
what
sir.
they are writing in their notebooks, and not on the basis of their intelligence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And finally, I'll let you say one thing,
Sure, sir.
that there is a numerical section
Yes, sir.
where accuracy matters.
Yes.
So double check the calculation, units, formulas, and show all the steps clearly.
Yes, sir.
So these are the few things that I like to suggest,
Thank
that
you,
the
sir.
teacher should take care
Definitely,
and
sir.
train their children in such a way that the children should overcome the time management problem,
Yes,
the
sir.
graph, diagrams, application of concept,
Definitely.
vocabulary, etc., etc.
Definitely.
So thank you, Gupta ji. Your
Thanks.
session was excellent. It's
Thank you, sir.
wonderful.
Thank you so much,
And
sir.
I have learned a lot.
Thank so thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So
It's
this
my
is
pleasure,
very
sir.
good, and hope that the teachers might have been learned a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any teacher who want to ask any question, anything, or you want to supplement anything? Yes, doubt session. Any doubts?
Sir, I just want to put forward one more thing, sir. Last year, when the G20 summit was going on, during the Dashera break, when a large number of 11th and 12th students went on the school trip, so whosoever left out, the students who did not go on a school trip, we declared them the bagless days. I mean, we called them in the school and we conducted not one, but two sessions based on the G20, especially the trade routes. The trade routes which were discussed in the G20 summit and their benefits, and the comparison of that particular China trade route. The China was was basically working on a trade route along with the Pakistan. How the G20 countries or how India can get the benefit from those particular trade routes. So we had two complete sessions, the discussion on that particular topic. So last year, September, perhaps the G20 summit was there in India. And in October, we had two sessions based on that. And time to time we discuss, sir.
Gupta, you can make a plan for 1 day workshop also, 1 day workshop for the children.
Right.
I mean, who can participate in such type of program?
Sure, sir.
Because nowadays a number of programs are being started by the different governments.
Yes, sir.
So we can take what is the impact of this program, this program, this program, this program. Number of schemes are implemented by the government.
Yes, sir.
So
Definitely.
we can discuss the merits and demerits of those schemes.
Yes, sir.
So that the children should have a first-hand experience of all these things, all application.
Or sir, at least if the students are very well aware about the government policies, the changes and the scheme, I mean, this is really primarily the purpose is served. If at least they should know what all government policies are there, changes taking.
If it is possible for you,
yes, sir.
Make a program of such type, because I want to discuss with the students about the free buys.
Sure, sir.
Which is very common.
Sure.
So what is their opinion about this?
Sure, sir.
Because all political parties are involved in this. We are not favorable of any particular party.
Yes, sir.
But what is the impact of the free buys on the society?
Sure, sir.
Sure. So such type of programs can be conducted.
Thank you.
Okay.
definitely.
Any teacher who want to know anything, doubt session is going on, please. चलिए गुप्ता जी, आपने इतना अच्छा बताया, कोई
Thank you
पूछ
so
नहीं
much.
रहा कुछ आपसे.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
हाँ.
And thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You are
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
So, anyone who is proposing thanks to you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone. As we come to close the conference, I want to extend our deepest thanks to each and every one of you. Your participation, enthusiasm, and insight have made this event truly remarkable. A special thank you to our esteemed speaker, Mr. S.N. Gupta, sir, whose expertise and thoughtful contribution enriched our discussions and inspired new ideas. Your presence has been invaluable, and we are incredibly grateful for your time and effort. We couldn't have done it without you, sir. We hope that the knowledge shared here will continue to resonate with you and that the connection made will lead to future collaborations also. Thank you once again for making conference a memorable experience. We look forward to seeing you at future events also. I would like to thank Shri A.K. Sharma sir for providing such a wonderful opportunity to interact and learn from each other and sharing his insights. It was very helpful for each one of us. Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all teachers. Thank you very much.